Hi everybody, Linda Carroll here from my studio, and I know I've been away for a bit of a time. I needed some time to recover and relax after the busyness of the summer and summer guests and visitors. But I am back and I'm glad to be here. And I wanted to do a little bit different video today, a collage video, which is my way of showing my admiration of Queen Elizabeth II. I think that I feel the same way that a lot of people born in the 50s do. She was the Queen of Britain, and she was the only queen that we really knew of, especially when we were small. And I followed the royal family my entire life, and I just admired the Queen's stamina and the many, many, many firsts that she accomplished during her lifetime. And I wanted to do something that in collage that kind of a tribute to her. So I have most of my pieces cut out, and I'm going to cut out Prince Philip here while I talk to you for a little bit. I know some of you are probably concerned about the hurricane that we had here in South Carolina, and I'm really wishing the best and prayers to everybody in Florida and along the southeast coast. We were not hit anywhere near as badly as Florida. We did have some flooding in my neighborhood. I live north of Myrtle Beach proper, and we happen to be in a little area that is like a bay in the ocean. So we are protected a lot from the worst part of the storms that come up the coast. But just south of us and just north of us, there were piers lost, and the storm surge was pretty intense. North Myrtle Beach was flooded. Myrtle Beach was flooded, but the only flooding we had was in the area of my neighborhood that's right down by the dunes. And personally, we really didn't suffer much. Didn't really suffer at all. We installed a generator when we moved into this house not too long afterwards. And so even though the power was out for about 6 hours, we were fine because our generator kicked on at about 2 and then went off at about 8:30. So we checked in with our friends to make sure they were okay, and they were. And my husband's outside cleaning up the debris from the trees, but we didn't lose any trees, although a number of people in our neighborhood did lose some large trees. I don't know if there's any property damage, but we are fine. I'm fine. And I took the opportunity to catch up on a lot of the artwork that I have, things I had started and did not complete. So let's get back to the Queen. What I'm going to do, I found this picture of her, and I started working on a small 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, but I found that what I wanted to include, I needed a lot more paper. So I enlarged the picture and I intensified the color. And what I'm going to do is cut this picture so that it matches the other picture. And I think everybody will recognize her by her eyes, her twinkling blue eyes, and her hairdo. Okay, so I'm going to cut right along this fold line. So how is everybody doing? I had a really busy summer, which took its toll, and I needed some time to rest, which I took. I feel much better. Okay, so I'm going to put the queen right here at the bottom of this page, and well, actually I'm going to move it up a little bit because I have a little tiny border around here, not very big. I'm going to kind of center her there. And what started all this was a fascination really with her purse, and she always carried a purse with her. She carried it with her on all occasions, and even when she was walking around through the palace, she would carry her purse. And she liked one particular brand of purse, and let's see here, I cut that out because I wanted to have that kind of come up here behind the purse. And it said that she has, I think it's like over 2,000 of these handbags that she just loved. And so I found a picture. Of one of these handbags, and the manufacturer is Launer, Launer. And I needed to find something specific that would be open, because I did a lot of research and found out what exactly Queen Elizabeth carried in her purse. And then I took some artistic license with that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right around this edge here so I can tuck some things down inside. So I don't know about you, but I don't have that many purses. Of course, I never had that many social engagements either. So there wasn't a necessity for me to have purses in that number, especially designer purses. But she was a special lady. Okay, I've cut right along that line, and that's gonna go tuck down here in her hair, as though it is open. Okay, and then we can start tucking things down inside. And what in the world would the Queen carry in her purse? One thing that she was never without was a fountain pen. And I couldn't find the specific name of the fountain pen, but I found one that I thought that she would like, and it's gold and black. And then another thing I thought she would like to carry in her purse would be this crown. Now, obviously, this is a symbol of the Queen, and we don't need to be reminded of who she is or what her status was as a monarch. But I found this crown, and I thought it was just the right size. So I printed it out. I'm cutting out the details right now. And I'm going to tuck it down in her purse. And I think with her wonderful sense of humor that she would really like this idea. Although it would never happen. All the crowns and jewels are kept in the Tower of London under safekeeping and watch. So popping a crown in your purse, probably, even if you were the Queen and it was yours, probably would not be a good idea. But I'm hoping that she had a fantasy or two about maybe doing just that and be able to wear her crown whenever she wanted to. Having breakfast in the morning, which I read an article the other day. She was very particular about things. And she wasn't super fussy. She was like a regular person. And in fact, she wanted her breakfast served in Tupperware. She didn't want royal china and people fussing around her. She wanted her breakfast served in Tupperware. And so it was. I'll scoot this over just a little bit. Can you imagine? I'm not sure what she ate for breakfast. She ate very sparingly. She, she was very careful about her diet and her health, which I'm sure is why she lived as long as she did. And she had a very, I wouldn't say meager diet, but very simple diet. She liked chicken and pheasant, and she liked vegetables as fresh as they could be. Okay, you see where we're going with this. But she did have one love in her life that she would not give up no matter what, and that was her love for chocolate. She loved chocolate. And her favorite chocolate was a mint called bitter mints. She loved dark chocolate. And so she always had bitter mints in her purse. And indeed, when she needed a chocolate fix, it was the bitter mints that she went for. But also every day she had a piece of chocolate, and it's called biscuit cake, dark chocolate biscuit cake. And so I'm going to put a slice in her purse just in case she was late for tea and really needed a bite of her chocolate biscuit cake. And what else would she have in her purse? I think that she would have carried, at least as a memory, her beloved Balmoral Castle in Scotland. And I know that she wouldn't have been able to carry that with her in reality, but in her heart, she loved Balmoral Castle so much. It was out in the country and away from London and the busyness of the city, and that's where she chose to spend her last days. And I would imagine, now this really isn't what she liked to drink, but I loved the backgrounds of this bottle of Glenfiddich Scotch. She was more of a Dubonnet and I think gin drinker. And I love these autumn leaves. It was close to the autumn when she passed away. And I'll go back in and trim out these white areas. But she had a little, actually, she would have a martini for lunch. And then in the afternoon or evening before dinner, she would have a Dubonnet, I think it was a Dubonnet and gin, or soda, I'm not sure. But she did love that tradition of cocktails before dinner, and I'm sure she had a lot of phone calls that she made. And I love these 50s, 60s dial phones. They're so much fun. And then I found these two paper dolls. And actually 3 paper dolls. And this one is her beloved Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Prince Philip. So I wanted to put him in there. I'm sure she missed him greatly and was happy to join him again. And then I found these 2 paper dolls of Diana and Prince Charles. And the first time I went to England, I actually bought paper dolls of Diana and Prince Charles. But that was back in, 1986, I believe, 85, 86. And I'm sure the Queen grieved when they split up and also when Diana passed away. And I love this teapot. It looks like it's dripping chocolate. So that tradition of afternoon tea I wanted to include in this collage. Let's see. And to me, that kind of looks like a country teapot. And she traveled a lot, and she had to be prepared to travel whenever she was called upon. So I'm going to put a little suitcase in there just as a reminder. And I'm not sure why I cut out this piece of bread. But I think that I wanted it to represent the help that she brought to a lot of starving people in the world. I think that's why I wanted to include that. And then I have her keychain here as her beloved corgis. She had a number of them. I'm sure some of them were very, very special to her. And another, she had a lot of hobbies, and one thing that she loved to do, and it is something that was passed down through her family actually, was to collect stamps. And what a wonderful way to preserve history and ephemera. So I've included a stamp with her picture on it. And she would also carry eyeglasses. Now, these aren't the kind of eyeglasses that she carried, but I'm going to, these would stand out more than the gold rim glasses that you usually see her in or saw her in. Okay, I was wondering, and that would work on this picture of Elizabeth. So I'm gonna find another photo and print another one of these out, and I'll work on that in a minute. But this is where I'm going with this particular collage. And for now, I'm going to go ahead, and I found some other pieces that women would have carried actually on a chatelaine attached to their belts. But I thought these are so beautiful that she definitely would have carried some kind of a notebook in her purse. So I'm going to cut this out. And this is a now file. I don't think I'm going to use that. But here is a compact that I thought was so pretty. So I think I want to include this. I have a new camera set up here, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm working on a slant, and I'm hoping that's helping with the glare off of the magazine images. I know when I was filming in the past and I would hold the collage up for people to see on a slant, that the glare was not as bad, if it existed at all. So I wanted to try that. Okay, I need to bring the phone up a little bit more so that it's recognizable. And I can tuck right down in there. And I was hoping maybe she liked chocolate chip cookies, but I couldn't find anything that said that she did. So I'm not going to use that. But we cannot forget about her pearls. And I found these, and they're just so beautiful. The reflections in the pearls themselves are so lovely. And I was thinking maybe there was one day that she was in a hurry to meet someone in the drawing room, and she didn't have her pearls latched well enough, and they came undone. And she caught them when they fell. They didn't hit the floor, but she didn't have time to put them on again, so she tucked them in her purse. Okay, let's see how we can put these in here. Okay. I think we are good. And I think I have everything on here so far, except for her reading glasses, which they will probably be tucked in here. So I may be able to use those. I think I have everything on here that I want for now. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, play some music, and I'll flash in between doing the actual pasting down of the collage and some memories of the Queen. Okay? laid out, glued in place, and I've added a couple things, and I think I'm going to look for a few more things to add. I felt like I needed to balance out these two sides of the collage. I have the pearls down here. Oh, and I found this great bee. Look at him. And so I'm gonna let him have a dual purpose. When I glued down my pearls, I have this space left here that bothers me. So he is going to take care of that for me and add a little bit of symbolism to this particular collage. And then since Queen Elizabeth was a stamp collector, it kind of runs in her family, and she inherited a wonderful stamp collection and continued to add to it during her reign. I thought to include more stamps down this side. So I'm going to go ahead and glue. I'm going to scoot this down a little bit. So I love this bee, and as you know, the bee is a symbol of hard work and diligence and teamwork and cooperation. So it seems to be a perfect symbol to add to this collage. And you've heard of the queen bee, so that seems perfect. Little addition to the collage. Okay, and then I have these stamps. They're actually from a stamp book that I found. They are all of Queen Elizabeth, celebrating certain times or themes or celebrations during her reign. And her stamp collection contains many very, very rare stamps. Makes it quite a collection, quite a expensive collection of stamps. And she was known to enjoy sharing the stamp collection with visitors. Okay, I think that balances out both sides. This side seems a little bit heavy with items, but I think that's okay because the flag is so dominant here, so I think that that balances out. I also found something else I want to add, if I can find it. Okay. I thought it would be interesting if somebody was holding up this flagpole. even though that's kind of wouldn't be happening. And so I think I'm going to modify this hand a little bit. This hand I just had in my stash. And I want the fingers to wrap around the pole. And then this finger will be in back of the pole. So we'll have the thumb come around the front of the pole. Okay, so these are coming around this way. Okay, I think I have all of my balance issues worked out. Let's see how this looks through the camera. Pretty good. All right. Now I want to add some other things to this. I love this bee, the queen bee. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's enough. I'm not sure. I thought of adding feathers and maybe some flowers. But I know one thing I do want to add are some lettering, that I want to include. So I'm going to get my ransom note letters out and see what I have. Some note letters that I want to use for the text across the top. And I've decided that to call this Queen, I can't decide, Queen of Bees or Queen of the Bees. And there's an interesting story that goes along with this. Actually, the Queen, Elizabeth, was Queen of the royal bees. And the bees have a royal beekeeper to make sure that they are well tended, and honey is gathered and bees are tended and so on and so forth. And indeed, the bees were one of the first groups to be told that the queen had died. This tradition goes back many years, when it was thought that if the bees who were kept by the monarchy were not told of the queen or king's passing, that bad news would be coming to them and things would not lead to success that they were involved in. And so it was very, very important when Queen Elizabeth passed away that the royal beekeeper went out, and what they do is they go out to the wooden beehives and they knock on the outside of the hive in order to get the bees' attention. And then they tell the bees that the queen has died. So the title of this collage is Queen of the Bees. So let's go ahead and glue this down. And I'm going to trim some of these letters as we glue them into. Okay. Okay, as I'm looking at this, there's one little area that's bothering me, and that is right in here. I'm not really sure. And maybe I need more than the one bee on here. Although not having any more bees could be a good thing. It could lead people to look for the bee, which I think might be fun. For now, I'm going to call this complete. And I'm going to come back and look at it again and see if there is anything else I want to add to this, like maybe some more stamps, or I might find some more bees and fussy cut them and see how they look on the collage, and then I'll make up my mind. But this gives you a good idea, and I really love the way it turned out. It fits my style. It's kind of like a totem here. I think that, and I hope that Queen Elizabeth would appreciate this, and her sense of humor would lead her to maybe chuckle a little bit at when she looked at it. And I hope you enjoyed this too. There were a lot of little stories and things that I have found in my research, and I really enjoyed putting this together. And Queen of the Bees. This is, by the way, on paper that is, let's see, 11 inches by 14 inches. So it's a larger collage than you usually see me working on, but I think I will probably be doing more of these because I really enjoyed being able to use larger images and play with those pieces and put them together. And I'm thinking too that maybe I need something right in here that would look like it's going behind the purse and the strap. But sometimes I tend to overwork things. So I'm going to leave this for a day or two, and then I'll come back and look at it. And the next time we get together, I'll show you the absolutely finished collage. So I hope you all have a magical week. Remember, everyday magic is the best, and most of that you'll find within yourself. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Many blessings to you, and it's good to be back. I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.